Okay, let's go. Three, two, one.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. Marijuana. Weed.
Wow.
Wow, that was awesome, dude. You're a great guitar player, man. You have a really good sense of timing and rhythm. That's pretty cool.
Under pressure.
Hey.
Under pressure.
That's good. Good,
What pressure?
good stuff. I figured you'd have a prop or something for that song, like pull out like a mirror or something with.
Well, I was inspired by Leonard's, location at Mammoth and his whole get up there.
That was
Get Up.
about. Oh, thank you. I like my wife's hat.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I really don't know how to wear it. So, Debbie, if you have any recommendations on how I'm actually supposed to wear this thing,
I like
appreciate it.
Turn it around. Turn it around.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but already much better.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there
thought
you go.
this little. I figured this dangling thing has some sort of purpose, aesthetic purpose. So
I
okay,
like
thank
you with the
Bill.
tassels in
There
front.
you go.
Yeah.
Not for you.
Okay.
You do
Okay.
what you
All
want
right.
with it.
Have you heard of the concept of a ponytail?
Okay.
So
Yeah. Okay. So hey everyone, welcome to IoT Coffee Talk. Remember to take us seriously at your own risk. We're here to have fun. Hopefully you enjoy the rant and the ravings. And remember, we're here for the kids. Please consider donating to Elevate Our Kids at www.elevateourkids.org. And we are trying to help kids bridge the digital divide. Yes, it's still a thing. And we're here to see if we can raise some money for these kids and get them connected, get devices in their hands and connectivity in their hands. And we're doing this in collaboration with T-Mobile and their program to connect kids in unserved and underserved communities. So hopefully, we can all be generous and try to help these folks out and these children out. So with that, hey guys, what's up?
I see Rob and I have are
Representing.
red and blue. Red and blue.
I have the black.
Oh, you got black on there.
Oh
Think
my
of this.
gosh.
Think
I
of
have
this
the
as
make IoT Coffee Talk Great Again sweatshirt.
That's right. You got
Yeah.
the. I love that. Think of this as an intermittent telethon that we're running,
Yeah.
actually. And so
Yes.
dial those
Yes.
phones, people.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yes. And hey, speaking of that, one of the things that Rob and I have been talking about is how IoT is going to have a renaissance, right, Rob? It's
Yeah.
funny that you brought that up. And I think somehow
2025.
Yeah.
IoT Renaissance is happening 2025. I can feel it.
yeah. And it's all because of you, Pete, and all the
IoTRenaissance.com.
all
It
the
is.
ridiculous edge AI stuff that you're doing.
Edge, man. Gravitational pull toward the edge.
Well, I still have my first IoT device, so my Navastag is here. So
What
I'm
the-
ready for the IoT Renaissance.
All right. Sounds
What was
good.
that, Bill?
Congrats to Pete on the CEO gig, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Now I'm a
What?
Ooh.
What is this all about?
What?
Oh, do tell.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
my
now,
God.
now I'm the CEO of Edge AI Foundation instead of the executive director. So
Whoa.
Oh,
Did you
Pressure's
promote
on.
yourself?
pressure's on.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So how many people did you have to push aside to go from
Right.
senior
It was a
director all the
bloodbath.
way up to CEO? Yeah.
It was a bloodbath.
Oh my gosh.
Game of
No,
Thrones.
but-
Game of Thrones.
But hey, man, seriously.
I love it.
Seriously. Congrats, because
Thank you.
the optics and the substance that you've brought to Tiny ML Foundation, what used to be Tiny ML Foundation, man, it's pretty impressive, man. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
well
Thank you.
deserved. Yeah, I was like thinking, it's like, man, this guy's a senior director. Nah, he should be a CEO. So
Yeah, sure.
they did you right. That's great.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. We got lots. There's so many things new things going on. I mean, we're gearing up for Milan now. If anyone's interested in joining us in Milan, Italy, first week of July.
Might just have to do that, man. That just sounds really good.
3 days. Yeah, we'll get you on a panel there. We'll get you up on stage, Leonard.
That does sound good.
Doesn't that sound good? I might just go
nice.
and then maybe try to find an excuse to.
Yeah, I'm going to hang there for about 2 weeks. I'm going to go to Rome with my wife first, and then we're going to take the train to Milan, and then
there you go.
Out and do some stuff. So just before it gets hot,
Yeah,
that's a spouse trip right there, right? That's a spouse trip.
And if you're in Milan, you're not that far away from Lake Como.
That's true.
Yeah,
so doesn't suck.
I heard.
Wow.
So, yeah, so they were gearing up for that. We've got actually a generative edge AI 2-day live stream coming up in the end of May.
Yeah.
Like all kinds of talks and stuff. It's free. It's free to register. So that'll be another big thing we're doing. So yeah, it's a lot of the activity. I mean, just came off of Embedded World. I mean, you guys are on the road too.
Yeah.
It's just almost overwhelming to sort of keep up with all the craziness. And but having some fun with it.
See what happens? Put an adult in charge.
Yeah, man.
Bill.
By the way, Bill, I think your microphone's you might be a little.
Yeah, get the big mic out, man. Come on.
There you go.
All right,
big voice.
There you go.
There we go.
I don't know about that. Mic check, bro.
Hey, it's all good. It was just pushed to the side.
It's a little.
It's still pretty iffy, dude.
Good.
I would.
Yeah,
adjust the levels a little bit.
Don't you love how we do these? Like we handle the technical difficulties a lot. We don't stuff. Yeah.
Well, but at least we are honest and we show it, as opposed to all the others who do the same thing but try to hide it.
Yeah,
That's right.
Actually, speaking of cool edge things, I was just last week. I'll have to plug this group called CASPA, the Chinese American Semiconductor Professional Association. Have you heard of them? But
I saw the pictures of you.
Yeah, they've been around for like 30 years, and they have an annual dinner, and like Jensen's spoken there twice. Lisa Sue's going to be there this year.
Oh wow!
So it's like this huge community, and so they had like a day-long symposium on physical AI, kind of at the tail end of GTC. So I spoke at that and was on a panel.
Yeah,
and it was really cool, actually. They gave me a nice plaque.
Oh, you got a plaque.
Wow! And it's even in Chinese.
Yeah, it's in Chinese. And
so,
then and then this guy from Digitime spoke. I don't have to get his name. But he gave out this book that he wrote called Semi-Country. It's the subtitle is Trump Storm and the Island of No Significance. And it's all about like Taiwan and Trump and semiconductors. And I haven't read much. His presentation was wild. But anyway, if you guys want to look at a wild book, Semi-Country, it's called.
Yeah.
Semi-Country.
All right.
But, crazy stuff.
So this is like a Chinese American association?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's primarily like Taiwanese semiconductor folks from the Bay Area and Taipei. Like, it started like in 1992, this organization.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's all that whole community that sort of, moved to Silicon Valley and.
Right. No, it's just, I think it's important to sort of make that distinction because nowadays there's so many sensitivities and also there's pretty broad ignorance. Some people don't know the difference between Taiwan and China, and then they lump everyone together. And some people think that TSMC is a Chinese company. It's like, no, it's not. So I don't mean to sound condescending here, but no,
it's true.
It's something that people need to be. I know, isn't that like? It's refreshing.
You should teach geography in school.
Yeah, like where Canada is. Hey, man, come on. We knew this stuff was happening back in the day when like Jay Leno used to do jaywalk, right? And people didn't know where Mexico was.
True.
I mean, sometimes some degrees of ignorance are dangerous, right? And it's not healthy. So we're just trying to bridge that divide.
What is the country directly south of the United States?
Canada,
yeah.
South America, isn't it?
Yeah. I used to love watching jaywalking.
South America.
Jaywalking was great. It's like there are so many idiots in Los Angeles.
Up north is North America.
who's the vice president of the who's the president of the United States? And they get it wrong. They would say something like Abraham Lincoln and
Abraham Lincoln,
friggin'
still.
George Washington. It's like, really? Okay.
Yeah, Abraham dodged a bullet.
No, that's no kidding.
I don't think he did actually.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Try.
Horrible.
Well, so I saw the big news today is that Rick Bullotta is going to take a pause on social media.
I saw that for like a month. So,
Oh my God.
I guess we can take the next month off.
I don't know what I'll do without him. Like shooting arrows at everything everybody says,
True.
Well, the LinkedIn or the Microsoft stock price is going to dump. I mean,
well, trolling does take a toll. It takes a lot of
psychic
negative
cost.
energy to make keep that thing going.
So he has to recharge his negative energy, doesn't he?
well, maybe he's decided to study more carefully the new OpenAI $40 billion investment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, he's just exercising regenerative braking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all love Rick. Come on. We love him.
Yeah.
He just doesn't come on the show that he semi-invented. So
it's a different kind of love. It's like a prickly love. Or
prickly.
Yeah.
Prickly love. Okay. Yeah. So, Debbie's awfully quiet. We're going to pick on her now, right? Because she's got to have something to say. So what's up, Debbie? How you been? You can't be on mute the entire show. That's not possible. What have you been up to? You've been posting a lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've posted some stuff about 23andMe, which is wacky. And then I'm speaking next week at a conference in DC for board of directors, something like that.
Washington, D.C.
But don't forget the important work that you're doing with the IEEE.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. So were you on that call? Were you on the
I
call?
was. I dropped a comment in the document on using some of the use cases and everything like that. So I'm going to contribute some use cases there.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah. So right. So my project with the IEEE Next Generation Connectivity System, we're working on a privacy label and a assessment that companies can do for themselves. And so we're going to publish a white paper. So that's what we're working on right now. So that'll be cool because that'll be the first publication from this subgroup that's working on this whole project. So that'll be great.
And I think that it drives a huge level of visibility towards, when we're talking about hospitals or healthcare and the use of agentic AI in these digital displays to kind of help automate the folks coming in to visit the hospital and I'm like, okay, so if you go up to that digital display, it's got a camera, it's looking at you, it just knows so much about you the minute you start engaging. Having a this type of best practice or things that you should look out for will help these companies not fall victim to nefarious activity that they didn't even know about.
True.
Yeah, it's very important. I think a lot of people just don't realize how much IoT is around them and how much they interact with it and what these things are doing. So I think, those use cases will be golden.
I guess you have to have the Fortune 500 folks that are buying the equipment and the systems need to enforce those kind of labels, right? So that they say, hey, I need stuff that has clear markings and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they should actually absolutely adopt it and say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. It's not going to happen through legislation. That's for sure. It'll have to happen.
No.
The market requires it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why we're not focused on kind of regulation. And then there's also kind of agnostic to, it's basically data around data. Like what are your data practices and how does that, how does that tie into what you're doing with connected systems? So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's an important baseline. I mean, obviously, all this stuff is going to evolve because all this whole privacy landscape continues to evolve and the security threats evolve. But it's a really solid baseline. And sorry, I haven't been on the calls lately because I've had conflicts like crazy lately. But it's such great work, important. And speaking of Renaissance, if IoT is going to have a renaissance and clear some of these headwinds that it's been facing for decades, privacy and security are going to be increasingly important, right? Especially for consumers, but even just in commerce, industrial, right? Otherwise, I mean, seriously, I think it's like come up with an air gap strategy. I mean, if you can't figure out security and privacy, you might as well just start putting up those moats, and because there's some scary stuff coming down the pike. I'm really, really interested in going to RSA this year and checking out. And it's going to be cool because I'm going to go in there just with my agenda, none of this analyst programs. One of the things I'm noticing about these analyst programs is, you actually get deprived of the time to actually explore and pursue your agenda. You don't get as much out of being at an event. In RSAC, I'm definitely going to take a huge, opportunity to just delve into some of these important topics around security, especially around the AI topic. Because man, it's getting friggin' scary. People are they still don't know. That's the thing that kills me, man. They still don't know. They still don't know. After 2 years, man, they still don't know. It's insanity.
But also, there's two things that I've seen. Two interesting counterpoints is one is that we've all been flying a lot lately. The proliferation of the camera during the security and the TSA check-in now is ubiquitous. And in fact, I have the digital ID, so I get to the front of the TSA line and I do the face thing because I figure at this point my face is like in every database known to man. So, but it's like pretty much ubiquitous. And I see people like on Instagram, like, here's how you can get out of the face ID when you check through this. You're not going to get out of it. So that seems to have, that horse has left the barn in terms of cameras and putting people's faces in a database, even though they say they erase the photo. However, on the other side, I'm seeing a lot of cool tech around, Wi-Fi routers and ultra wideband and analyzing those signals to count people and how many people are in a room and how many people. So there's a lot more new ways of detecting crowds and number of people in a more anonymous way. Which is happening. So you could actually count how many people are in your restaurant without a camera, right? Because you're analyzing Wi-Fi signals. But at the same time, everyone's getting their face scanned at the airport. So we sort of have both of these things happening at the same time. And I didn't see a way around the airport one at all.
It would be interesting to see. So it would be interesting to see how this technology work because I probably count as 10 person when I go somewhere because I have 10 devices connected. So it would be interesting to see how they do that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I know that like some of the tech that I'm seeing, especially around biometrics, is very concerning. Some of the use cases that I see, so you may not be able to avoid it at an airport, but maybe you don't want to use your face to buy a beer at the ball game or something, Right. So for me, like those types of use cases are always concerning. I'm like,
the most important use cases. Yeah, the most important use case is don't communicate your war plans using the Signal app.
That's right.
Definitely a no-no.
No, nobody cares about that.
Yeah, nobody knows what an F-18 is.
There was no confidential information in this war plan, so I would like to see what is a war plan without any confidential information.
Exactly. So, I'm just glad that Debbie spoke up. Otherwise, she was basically Jeffrey Goldberg lurking on our group here, and so it's good that
our group chat. She's in our group.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks for that.
All good.
Oh my gosh. It's
Oh
going to
my
be
God.
F-18s, and it's going to be at this time, and we're going to deliver these bombs.
Yeah.
And the bombs are going to drop at this time. That's not war plans. That's just me shooting the shit with some buddies.
Forget the facial recognition at
It's
TSA.
just a reality show. I mean, this is what it is. We watch it on social media. So
Yeah. Well, it's
Security.
I'm just surprised they're not using. I'm just surprised they're not using F-35s. But anyways,
Actually, I heard there's a new F-47 jet that's being built, and the 47 is named after Trump because he's the 47. So,
oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
yeah, they changed the name to 47.
yeah, well, my
I heard
comment,
about that.
my comment on that is I hope it's more built in the name of the AK-47, which is a much more proven, reliable tool.
Yeah, AK-47's got some long life. That's got some history behind it. Yeah.
So he was throwing a bone to Boeing, basically.
yeah.
Don't worry about spaceships and airplanes with doors flying out. Hopefully
SpaceX
this
will take care of that stuff. SpaceX.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
Given the recent track record of the 787 and the MAX,
Yeah, that's kind of scary, though. I mean, but it is. Maybe it's just. I mean, because China's flexing their muscles, right? They have that whatever their F-36 or
F-48.
that thing is. Is it the
but there is the thing.
F-48?
Here's the thing that puzzles me. Look at the current conflicts we have. How many of those planes are so important? It's all about freaking drones now.
It is about drones.
It is
Why are we going to spend billions in a fighter jet that's going to stay on the ground? Because
That's true.
because either you cannot use it because you're you have the plane but you cannot use it, or you don't need it because you're just dropping missiles and drones bombs. So
Well, yeah, that's the interesting thing. The air defense systems now are becoming so potent. Air superiority in the modern Western battlefield. It's not about fighter planes because they're expensive and they get shot down.
yeah, and it's more the protection dome against the drone and all those tiny little things that fly everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not
I think it's just throwing a bone to Boeing. Absolutely. I mean, a bunch of nothing happens in 4 years, basically.
That's true.
Well, they make the F-15, and so now there's a lot of countries that are former customers that are going to stop taking orders of that just because of it. I mean, geez, think about how great. Number one, kudos to the McDonnell Douglas engineers who designed that friggin' plane because it is
Good plane.
friggin' amazing. Yeah, I mean, it can still outperform like the F-22.
Top Gun.
Certain
Isn't
things.
it funny to think that all these great planes that were designed in the late 60s and 70s are the best ones out there?
Yeah. Oh no. SR-71. If you ever watch a documentary on how that thing was engineered and designed, it's unfriggin' believable. It's like they figured this stuff out in the 50s.
I feel like Leonard and I had a chat where we agreed. I think we were smarter back then than we are today.
Did you guys remember we went to the moon? So
Back then.
guys?
Did we?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, well some people don't. Yeah, true. Yeah, right. You're right.
Remember O.J. Simpson and Capricorn 1? I mean,
I do remember that. Yep, I do.
Maybe we were really good at virtual reality back then. More than we were
Your
at
capsule
rocketry.
doesn't burn up on reentry because they're going to be coming for you, like Capricorn 1.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Yeah.
Wow. I know,
got an
that's some
Oscar for
crazy
that.
stuff there. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, a slight change of topic. I want to throw out, this. I saw today that the OpenAI, the latest OpenAI model, is now not allowing you to do Studio Ghibli type illustrations. So they blocked that. They blocked so for folks that don't know, you could create all these new cool stuff, and one of them is in the style of Miyazaki. In Studio Ghibli, you can create illustrations, which someone in about 3 seconds figured out, that means they trained the model on copyrighted information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can create like pseudo copy, stuff that mimics the copyrighted information for free. And so they shut it down.
Because you definitely saw the post. It's like a lot of amazing Japanese artists are just being swept aside with this, Yeah.
Crazy. And it's like, how did that happen? Like, what was the internal checkoff process in OpenAI to say, yeah, this is good, this is fine, we can train on copyrighted information and then allow people
I mean, it's so wrong. It's so wrong. It's like, people who think that this stuff is okay. I mean, you're going up against, you're going against humanity. I mean, art is about humanity, right? It's not about a friggin' machine copying what a human does and, expresses through their talent. I think that's worse than, I mean, that's like, yeah, it's up there with murder, man, in my book. It's like,
well, it's definitely corporate.
Well,
it's corporate malfeasance for sure.
They're taking full advantage of the slow pace of anything happening legally, and also these pockets. Right?
Yeah.
So these smaller creators can't really fight these cases, right? Unless they turn into.
Although in this case, it's like Studio Ghibli is like, it's pretty major.
Yeah,
which is,
I'm saying you need a major player. Like, if you're an individual creator, there would be very little that you could do, right? Unless you had deep pockets. So,
true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
And that's just
it's like a slow motion disaster, basically.
This whole thing is a slow motion disaster. I mean, that's just one data point to what's happening across the board with this AI stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, the cat is out of the bag now. Things are fueled by data, and corporations or anybody or even governments are going to go after data wherever it is.
Right.
They ask, they apologize later, but they're not going to ask for permission.
Well, I mean, look at Dimitri's wallpaper there. You've got South Park that's been.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's probably
copyrighted material.
Probably going to get a message. Probably going to get a message from YouTube very soon.
Gosh.
So he was done by OpenAI, so I can tell you, hey, that's not me. I just wrote something.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
By the way, we talked about that, I think, in a previous show, Peter. The way that those models now integrate text with images is finally good. Actually, it is really fixed now.
Pretty good.
Even this one I generated in December, I think it's in January. It's still a little bit crappy, but I've done more experience recently. It's really, really nicely done. The way they merge the text, is really fixed now. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, it definitely has a place. It's just this is kind of like, and in the edge AI world, we don't really battle this issue, but it does give AI in general a pretty bad rep when it's just used for mimicking copyrighted material like that. So I just think it was an unfortunate misstep, and I would expect that someone at OpenAI in their chain of command would have sort of been like.
But that, guys, I mean, that raises an interesting problem because this has been existing in human societies for decades. People copy other people. The problem now is that it's the scale. It's the scale at which, exactly. The problem is the scale at which we can do it now, but this will have, if you want to fix that, you're going to need to do some very profound work on societies and on education and on values. And that's one of the problems. There's no other values at money nowadays. So anyway.
Rob's got some good
ones. You heard the announcement. You heard Sam Altman say a couple of weeks ago that he needs to have copyrighted material or China will win AI.
It's probably true.
No.
I guess that tells you what you're thinking.
I don't think it's true. No, what you're saying is true. Will China win if they don't do all this stuff? I think is absolutely false.
No, agreed. But there is a disadvantage if you don't open the floodgates to the data right now. Because they will do it. So they've been doing it for 25 years. It's all intellectual property in everywhere in the world until
but then I think
putting firewalls. So,
I think I think that might be a misconception. I think our guys probably steal as much stuff in terms of copyright, but in the grander scheme of what constitutes winning in AI is not necessarily the data. It's a better, more efficient model. Right, or set of models. And what the Chinese approach is different from what the U.S. Tech companies are doing, who are really depending on creating these world models that supposedly know everything, and they're trying to close that gap in between what's transpiring in real time with what's represented in the model. That's a different objective, right? The Chinese are doing something different, which has resulted in DeepSeek, which has resulted in Quen, that are trained on. There's an efficiency there that cannot be matched by what Google or any of these guys at the moment.
But it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened if we didn't have the Google and the OpenAI first or before. So it's interrelated.
Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that?
It's interrelated. Did they start it from totally scratch?
Well, it started with the transformer from DeepMind.
Yeah, and so it's just an architecture.
Okay, that's where it started. And if that hadn't happened, nobody would be doing any of this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's
and
all
then Google acquired them, and then it started. Yeah.
And the point is that if we don't continue on the path of evolution, or I would say the researching and developing the technology, and if we put boundaries which are artificial that the others don't put, you are at a disadvantage.
Yeah, but there's a difference, I think, Dimitri, on we can, the challenge is how do you create a very efficient AI infrastructure without pirating copyrighted material? And I think it's a hard problem to solve, and it's a problem that I think the US AI, community should solve that. But so it doesn't mean that you have to publicly make available the ability to
I think
copyrighted information.
No, I agree. Of course, it's an exaggeration, but I also, and I said that on the show before, we are going to have to rethink all that, because again, it's an issue of speed and scale. Because let me give you an example. You learn things at school. You go create a venture. You make a lot of money. Do you own money back to the teacher that taught you things?
No.
Why not?
You pay.
Why not?
You already paid.
The teacher already got paid. The teacher got paid.
The teacher already got paid, man.
Hey, I bought the DVD on the movies. I watch it and I put it in my model. It's fundamentally the same thing. You're getting some knowledge, you're getting some intelligence from a source.
Yeah, but when you buy the DVD, you don't have the rights to then copy that DVD and resell it to your friends for $10 each.
No, agree, but you're thinking. I think I'm not.
Like you don't own you don't own the copyright once you buy the DVD.
I'm not explaining myself well, but you
exactly.
I mean,
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. You're not explaining yourself.
No, again, the point is that the point is that how you create value from what sources is going to change with those new tools. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't know. I think
people reward their mentors when they make money or when they are successful. It's kind of the same idea.
But I think I agree with your earlier comment that we have to rethink this whole thing, because
that's my point.
When it was first introduced, no one thought about it from a cyber or privacy perspective. It was like, look at this cool shit I can do.
Exactly.
Look at these poems it can write.
And it's societal. It's societal, and it's at the level of impact, at the level of society and the level of value, which is one problem because nobody talks about value anymore in this world.
But this copyright thing has been around for, even with Google search, the New York Times sued, the idea of like monetizing people's copyrighted information and then selling that as a search, advertising business has been in the courts forever. And a lot of the media companies early on capitulated to Google, in exchange for, exposure and not being shown on other search engine. So this has been going on since the beginning of time.
Yeah, but it's going to reach a point where we have to rethink the whole thing because it just doesn't work anymore, realistically.
What Dimitri's talking about, there was a good example in the movie The Social Network when Zuckerberg made some comment. It's like, if I created a chair, a rocking chair, do I owe money to everyone who ever made a chair before? When he was talking about, was I copying the Winklevi twins when creating the Facebook, and it's kind of, there's everybody's, it's got into your brain and you're going to kind of use it. I totally get where you're coming from, Dimitri.
But there is a well-established copyright law, precedent out there, like copying songs. Like George Harrison got sued for a song he wrote that sort of sounded like another song. So there's a process for like identifying copyrighted material and how close it is to the original. So, but right now it feels like from an AI perspective, we just sort of thrown the book out the window.
We pretty much threw the book out the window. But hey, props to Bill. Props to Bill. I checked out his Smart City webinar on Wednesday.
Right.
Cool.
Thank you. Yeah, that was nice, right?
It was. That was nice.
Frisco is changing the game.
Really?
I mean, if you saw their building and how modern it is, and the high rises that are going up over there, Universal is coming and building there.
Universal
You mean San
Studios?
Francisco?
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about? San Francisco? Because I don't.
No. Frisco, Texas.
North of Plano.
Frisco, Texas. I mean,
They
look,
need to change your name.
I wasn't sure what you were talking
because-
about. There,
because
but I appreciate
it is amazing what they're doing and the way that they're approaching this. Totally different. I mean, the engagement that they get inside the city is just flat out awesome.
That's cool.
I've never seen vertically integrated organizations look at each other and go, well, let's just share data.
Wow, that's nuts.
No, it's my data. It's copyrighted.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is just, they're so forward thinking.
That's great.
And
That's practice.
it's just, I can't wait for us to do some of the things with them. I mean, we're kind of heavily focused on what they're doing for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And
I just love the Dallas Cowboys star facility there in Frisco. It's amazing.
the Office for Economic Development overlooks the training facility.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah. So that's the most highlighted positive thing you'll ever see about the Dallas Cowboys. We'll probably just do that.
For the next 30 years. For the next 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, just believe me.
That's American.
When I say, but look at the organizations that are moving out there. I mean, Plug and Play just put up a huge building in there, and they've got like the VC community out there is just phenomenal.
Wow. Good for Dallas.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome.
Good.
Good stuff. All right. We just lost it right there.
Yeah.
It just died right
No,
there.
no. I think that's,
Splice.
I think that's awesome stuff, man. That's incredible. You know, we need good stories, or at least not good stories, good cookbooks for how to make this stuff
Successful
happen.
deployments, yes.
Yeah,
Successful
yeah.
success stories like that.
That's
are
right.
Important.
Well, I think
No, it is.
to that point, that's kind of what we're doing. And I mean, weirdly enough, I mean, you know, it's taking a group independently. Each one of the companies that we're working with has done something in the cities. And we, together with NVIDIA and AMSYS, who's a master systems integrator and everything, and True North. And I mean, we've got this collective put together, and we're merging solutions to be very modular, so that you lay the foundation and the framework, and then as the city grows and wants to do other things, they just go, okay, well, here you go, and you just kind of flip the switch, and these things come on.
I think in the IoT and edge space, I mean, if you found it the same way in Edge AI Foundation, like I think years ago it was like, how do we make this stuff work? And now it's like, how do we deploy it and commercialize it? And so I think kind of sharing success stories about, and you're showing patterns, right? So like we just did a live stream with SoftBank about aquaculture in Japan and how they're using AI vision to count fish and number of fish and fish sizes and disease on fish, like really doing amazing things with aquaculture. And like someone's going to see that and say that I don't exactly have that kind of problem, but something similar to that. And then that's pretty cool. I can use that to solve my problem too. So I think the more we can syndicate these patterns of success or best practices, I think the better. And that's what people see these days is like, how do you deploy it to solve a problem, and what are the pieces involved, and how can I do that? So.
Right, but from a practitioner's view, not from a vendor's view. And I think that the biggest problem right now, and even with the walkthrough that you did for me, Bill, what's impressive is the recognition of the challenges. Like the friggin', the gap of the ugly stuff. Yeah. Right. If you don't know what the gap of the, if you don't know what the ugly is, you don't know what you're doing.
No, because
you have to see the ugly. Going back to the edge AI, enterprise AI stuff, for 2 years, people still don't understand the ugly, which is astonishing for me. Right. And that tells you how far off enterprise Gen AI, stuff that's enterprise grade, telco grade, industrial grade is. It's if you don't fundamentally address the technological limitations and understand how that limits what you can do, you can never work as a vendor. You can never work with a customer in realizing success because number one, you're POCing a bunch of stuff that's like experimental. You're hopefully managing expectation with the customer that you guys are jointly trying to figure this crap out, right? But you have to close that gap. You're only discovering what's ugly. You actually don't know what ugly is. And so it's the practitioner's view, I think, that's so much more important than a lot of the stuff that the vendors are dumping out there. A lot of them who don't even have any experience, haven't even gone through the process of figuring out what those limitations are, right? They're just going in there because the sales guy wants to make their quota. And the marketing people want to sales enable a bunch of these guys that sell POCs that go nowhere. This is the biggest problem in tech today, right? And you know, we've been dealing with this kind of crap for years. It's just that now it's become so disconnected from any realities. At least back in the day, things were somewhat grounded. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And people were a little bit afraid of like, you know, representing their technologies as being like a panacea. And it was.
When you say that, Leonard, I think the pace is definitely faster nowadays. I would agree with that. Yeah. But I mean, I started into and Rob, you can relate to that. We started in the SQL database in the 80s and people were buying SQL database before they knew what they could do with them. So it always takes time between, you know, when a new technology emerges, everybody gets excited about it. All the vendors stuff on the shelves. And then you go into the ugly and then finally you mature and you realize. We went through that with analytics in the 2000s. And right now, and we went to that, we're probably still there with the basic AI. This is why I actually personally never found an AI company I could work with, because all they're doing is a bunch of tools and they're helping us understanding how to inject prediction in their business workflow because they don't know how to do it. Now, in 5 years, the same way that, you know, when analytics came in, people didn't know how to put analytics in their workflow. So you had to buy all these consultants to put your technology in practice. So yeah, I think the model that Bill highlighted by, hey, you have to understand the ugly first so you can progress with technology is really but it's been the pattern for many, many years now.
Yeah, but it's also a broken cycle, like the hype cycle, right? Exactly. It's people constantly making the same mistake. And, you know, I mean, why are we even why do we do this all the time? It's because we see people making the same mistakes all the time. You know, Rick Bullotta, you're not on the show. You're going to take a break for a month from trolling. You know, the thing is that we don't run out of friggin' topics because people keep creating new variations of mistakes that don't need to be made. I mean, we like flat out bring up the ugly so that people know what the ugly is. But do you know what I'm saying? That's value. That's what you were talking before. It's like you basically shave off all the nonsense that people have to go through and all the wasted money, all the wasted effort to understand what the technology can do and solving problems. Because ultimately, like what you know, True North and all of us do and have in our backgrounds is to help clients or customers and companies, organizations apply technology in a successful way. And it's not an easy thing. It takes discernment. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to have that filter. And that filter is recognizing what's ugly, what the ugly is.
Let's talk about, let's break down what ugly is. So I think ugly is double ugly, okay? So the ugly is the fact they don't know what problem they want to solve. And the second is when they try to pull on AI, what they're doing is creating new problems. So it's a double whammy for companies that are trying to rush into this stuff. So it's a mess.
100% agree with that.
But maybe we haven't found a better pattern for that. So I mean, the hype cycle, whether you like it or not, it actually works over time. People get excited, they do a lot of stupid things, and some people like us help them figure out the bullshit, and it goes down,
Well, yeah.
and then we go to the next wave. So, I mean, you call that a mistake, you can call it maturity. It's just that maybe we're not that good as humans are going directly from a new innovative idea to the plateau of productivity. We have to go through crap.
It's not stupid. It may be like ignorant. It's just simply not doing your homework, right? And even, we do have practices out there such as, vendor management, evaluating your vendors and making sure that, hey, do they even friggin' know what they're talking about? Do they have a product that actually works? These simple pieces of due diligence that are critical filters in, for an organization or even individual investing in technologies. These are practices that have been around forever. It's just that now, they don't have the credence and the degree of application that they should have, right? And instead, what we have is board pressure. They hear like some friggin' buzzword, and next thing you know, they're taking money away from important things and they're shoving into a friggin' science experiment that has a high probability of failing and delivering absolutely no value for the organization. This is something we see all the time. It's not even a theory. It friggin' happens all the time. It's a big problem. Yeah. Now that's stupid. Is continuing that pattern is stupid, but it's all rooted in fundamental, like ignorance of the technology. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. You should learn. But there's a whole process there are processes and practices that we have to
I think this is
prevent that kind of, bad investment.
I would say on the upside, on the positive note, there's more resources than ever to get educated about technology and how it can solve problems. And you can see, you go online, you can get educated. So people that are motivated to get educated, and that's kind of what we're trying to do, is just educate everybody. And absolutely kind of foundational. There's also and I think people recognize, especially in the edge and IoT space, it's really a team sport, and kind of assembling the right team, getting on the right team is really critical, whether you're a startup or a Fortune 100. And part of that is finding solution provider, system integrators that kind of, you can leverage their knowledge, especially as things get more and more complicated. So I feel like people the arc is bending toward, knowledge and education over time. And those who don't do that, unfortunately, will kind of lose in the competitive marketplace. But
I'm fascinated by your optimism, Pete. I hope it is true. But at the end of the day, you have to look at people's motivation. I mean, doomed. You have to look at people's motivation. And this is why we were going back to, the quest for the moon. The motivation in going to the moon was about, values, a certain idea of the system. And it was not about making money. Most of people's motivation is making money, and they will try to take stupid decisions or shortcuts to get money faster. So, as long as
that's not going to change.
I think all of that. I think all of that is.
That's why I'm saying, and in a world that when this is not going to change, you still going to have hype cycle, and this is the way it works. You get a lot of people
but people that win in the competitive marketplace are the ones that gain the knowledge, get on the right team, have the right partnerships.
I would actually. It would be a very interesting area of research, because you have a lot of people that opportunistically make money in the hype cycle.
Sure.
And if you compare by the ones that
we've had that too. We had pet rocks in the 70s too. Every so often, someone's going to just do something, make a bunch of money off of it, and then disappear. And
momentary monetization.
It's freaking jingle farts, man. That's like a perennial money making opportunity.
I think the big problem, though, I do like your pet rock example, but there's a lot of money being sunk, in Cap X here, right? And so some of these people, they're going to be stuck with stuff that they can't use because they may not know how to do what they first of all, they may not be able to do anything that will cover their costs or help them make money back, right? And so so I've seen a lot of companies go out of business because they spent all this money and they can't really turn it around and make it into revenue.
Exactly. And
that's the fault of how you're selling as well. Because today, what I see, everyone wants to go in and they want to talk about the tech. I don't at all. I don't want to talk about the tech. I want to talk about, I know what your problem is, and here are the numbers that back it up, and here's how we would approach solving that problem.
Yeah.
Now, invariably, there's going to be somebody that wants to go and, explain to me how you're doing this. And from a system integration perspective,
Sure.
how you're going to tie into my existing stuff and give me all these, great optimizations on operations. And that's a conversation that's worth having.
But there's also, this is why there's so many opportunities in brownfield deployments, and there always will be.
Yeah.
Because people bought it, they've already bought it. They already bought the cameras. They already bought the equipment. They've depreciated it. It's running. Now I want to add functionality to it. And that's like 80-90% of the deployments out there. You never get someone who's like, I'm just going to scrap all this and start over again. Like, nobody does that. So
the world is heterogeneous. Yeah, totally agree with you.
Boom.
That's 100%
where it's at.
what we go after. We go after brownfield. I mean, it's worth it. It is 100% worth it. I mean, you want the fast track to money? Go fix the brownfield problem.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's the ugly stuff. That's the ugly stuff. That's why. Yeah, it's actually fun doing that kind of work too, right? It's interesting to solve all the different spaghetti messes that are out there.
Yeah.
But
well, you want to learn? Do that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I learned so much back in the day when I was doing, systems integration work across like entire global portfolios. You learn everything. Data structures and data flows teach you everything. It teaches the anatomy of industries. It's awesome.
But you think about I've seen also like a lot of the industrial robots that are out there, like the KUKAs and things like that. Like you don't want to crack those things open. So they're engineering like outboard AI, like outboard AI systems to like enhance the existing industrial robots out there, because they're not going to buy a new robot. So it's like you're going to see like that's kind of the hot thing right now is like, how do I outboard my AI to my existing equipment?
Augmentation.
Kind of like how we outboarded just machines with vibration sensors for IoT to determine if it's about to croak. You're not going to crack it open. It's brownfield. How do I externally do stuff?
Measure. Right. Control it and measure it. Yeah.
All right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So who wants to take us out? I think it's about that time.
Tiffany, I think it's your thing.
Jump in.
Oh, all right. We're going to take... I wish I had the hat that Leonard had on right now.
You need the hat.
I'll try to.
Yeah, put on the hoodie.
All right, here we go. Get the hoods up. We're in the hood. Thanks so much for joining us on IoT Coffee Talk. My microphone is working.
I think Dimitri kind of looks like one of his Kenny's.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to blend.
At the end of every IoT Coffee Talk episode, Dimitri dies. Every one. At the end of every episode, he dies.
Dimitri.
Because what you're looking at is one of my digital twins.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Excellent.
no.
Right.
Excellent.
There you go.
Application. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I do like the tassels in front on Leonard. I think that's a much better look. It's a good look. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Very
Yeah.
very Nora Desmond of you, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going to get that reference. Oh my gosh. Thanks so much for joining us. There's a lot of silliness, but a lot of really good nuggets of info here. Make sure you run towards the brownfield. If you want to succeed in this stuff, don't be afraid of the brownfield. So many of you young whippersnappers think we're going to solve the world's problems with greenfield Raspberry Pis, and it turns out it didn't happen. So run towards the brownfield. Listen to Bill. It's not always some digital 3D thing. It could be about operational data for those digital twins, as it turns out, that stream of data coming in. So operational, brownfield. Debbie is not Jeffrey Goldberg. She does speak up, and so that's a good thing. We know she's here. She's not lurking. She's not going to report on us later in an article or anything like that, which is good.
Right.
Celebrate our youth. We're trying to learn them some information, aren't we?
Yes.
And so we're going to elevate our kids, get them some laptops, get them some connectivity, get some edumacation. You know, he was talking earlier about how the arc is bending towards edumacation or something like that. And so that's good. That's what we're trying to do. We are bending the arc ourselves on this show. It may not bend without us.
Isn't it that way? We're trying to go like logarithmic. Yeah, bend it the other way. Something.
You know, is it right and to the left and to the corner to the leaders? We are taking you to the leaders quadrant. Yeah. Exactly. We are so delighted that you joined us, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And we're out.